Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to another eFootball 2022 video. So there's going to be some maintenance tonight between 7 o'clock till 11 o'clock British summer time, or 1800 to 2200 UTC time. So if you are looking to play this game, you're not going to be able to tonight. So what we're going to be doing today is reviewing the English League stars and giving you my thoughts on these players in this pack and telling you who you should perhaps buy and maybe worth a pass. So let's start off with Mo Salah. Now, obviously I told you that the Champions League version of Mo Salah was not worth getting. This guy is pretty good. And the reason I say that is his speed is higher than his acceleration, but it's not too bad. You can train that out. So you can increase his acceleration to be above his speed, which is what I would recommend. That would really boost his offensive awareness on that right wing forward position when he's cutting in on his left foot with that high finishing stat of 88. He's got great balance. This is probably the best Mo Salah to date, if you're asking me. But whether, you can train the standard Mo Salah to be even better than this guy, I don't know. I'd have to play around with the eFootball database, which is run by PES Universe, so check that out. But from me here, this guy is definitely one of my recommended at this pack so far. Bruno Fernandes. So he is an attacking midfielder, obviously plays for Manchester United. He's a whole player. And looking at his stats, if there's someone who's sort of camped or defending deep or defending the penalty box, then sometimes you just need someone who can smash it from range. And with 84 kicking power and 76 finishing from range, that is going to be deadly, especially the curler 82. So finesse shots, stunning shots, anything like that is going to be very, very useful for this guy. Obviously, his tight possession is a little bit low for my liking, so I'd probably boost that along with the ball control if you do get to train him. His speed's absolutely fine. Don't put any points in speed. It's really not needed in that attacking midfield role. What's most important is the passing, the tight possession, the ball control. And obviously, if you are looking to shoot from range, I would look to boost that kicking power as well. So, those are the things you probably want to train for Bruno Fernandes. Heung-Min. A lot of people talk about this guy, but his speed is so much higher than acceleration. You'd have to put pretty much all your points in acceleration to be able to match that speed. And I don't think he's going to feel very good on the ball. His ball control and tight position stats are kind of low for a 90 rated midfielder. But I've heard a lot of people say this guy is really good, or the base card is really good. Whether this guy is any good, it remains to be seen. His balance is pretty good for a wide player. And if we just look at his skills, perhaps something I should have done for the last two players, which we'll go and revisit in a second. Scissor feints is a nice one to have for me personally. I use that quite a lot. Double touch is useful. The chop turn, that's very useful. That's another skill I use, the CR7 chop. If you don't know how to do it, check the tutorial on my channel. Other ones, first time shot. He hasn't got one touch passing, which is a bit of a downer for me personally. I really need that. And his low passing is quite low, so he's kind of probably lose the ball for you quite a lot, but he's going to be good at running with the ball. You're probably going to need to boost his dribbling to match his speed and acceleration, so I'd look to boost his acceleration first to get above his speed. Don't touch the speed stat. And then boost his dribbling to be somewhere in around the speed and acceleration, so you get the maximum amount of speed out of this guy in the wide area. If you want a quick winger, then that's the sort of build you want to go for. Otherwise, I recommend boosting the tight possession, ball control, low pass stats, but I couldn't recommend him if you're going to go down that route. If you're looking for like a playmaker on the left hand side rather than a speedster, then I would not recommend Son. Mason Mount, this is a guy I've got in the old Champions League bundle, or no, actually it was actually the Chelsea pack, sorry. So this guy is pretty decent stat wise, but there are better midfielders in my opinion. He has got really good ball control, tight possession, those are really nice. His low pass 79, that's adequate. That's more than adequate, but something I would probably look to boost. His speed and acceleration, you don't need to touch those. Kicking power is really good. Again, good for long range shots. He's got 75 for finishing. So scoring in and around the box isn't going to be a problem with him. He's got really nice balance stat as well, 84. So he's very mobile, probably more like a more mobile version of Bruno Fernandes, but with less passing. So do you want the passing range of Bruno Fernandes, or do you want the mobility of Mason Mount? That's the sort of question you got to ask yourself here. If we just take a look at his skills, soul control is a nice one to have. That helps your finesse dribbling, acts really nicely. Double touch, weighted passing is also nice, but he hasn't got one touch pass. He's got weighted pass and low lofted pass. Those are kind of nice. For me, the low lofted pass sort of takes away the scoop through ball. It can still be performed, but sometimes you find that the low lofted pass overrides that. So something to be wary of when you are selecting this player. But for me, without the one-touch pass, I don't think I can recommend him. But now let's just dive back into the player skills of Mo Salah and Bruno Fernandes. So Mo Salah, he's got tons of sort of skill-based skills here. Look, scissor feint, double touch, nice to have. The chip shot control is very, very good to have as well. And then you've got the sort of gimmicks like rising shot, outside curler. So whilst they look nice and fancy, and the double touch is obviously key with a player like this, I really want that sort of one-touch passing. It's not important because you give him the ball and he runs and you try and score with him, right? So his low passing is kind of low. He's not going to be that sort of playmaker. He's not supposed to be that playmaker style. He's going to be like your last player you give the ball to before he puts it in the back of the net. So in regards to that, if you play him that way, then like I said, easy recommendation. Bruno Fernandes, this person, in my opinion, is better now than Mason Mount. Reason why? One-touch passing, through passing, pinpoint crossing, and also soul control. He hasn't got double touch, but that doesn't really matter too much in the attacking midfield role. If you ask me, it's not all that important. Heel trick is nice to have. And Marseille turn. That's another skill I would use personally, but mainly in the wide areas. It's not really useful in the attacking midfield role. But other than that, yeah, pretty good. And he's obviously a penalty specialist, so if you do need someone to take your penalties, he's your man. Gundogan. Wow. This is a real surprise. I did not expect much from this guy, but his defensive awareness, even though it's 63, that's still quite high for a midfielder that is going to play in an advanced area of the pitch. He is a central midfielder, but he does have that whole player role, so he's going to be more advanced than most midfielders. He's got decent low passing and lofted passing, but look at that ball control stat. That means he's going to be able to receive the ball in tight spaces, bring it under control nice and quick, and I wouldn't touch his speed and acceleration. Those are fine in my opinion, but I would look to boost the ball control, tight possession stats, and his passing to make the most out of him. Maybe you could even boost his finishing because he has got the whole player role. He's going to get into the box. He's going to get on the end of things. So you could boost his finishing as well in terms of training. Maybe his balance is a little bit low for my liking. That's the only problem. So if the player gets near him, then he's going to probably perhaps lose the ball more often than not. If we just take a look at his player skills, double touch is very nice to have. One touch passing, through passing, and weighted pass. Low lofted pass, I've already discussed that one. It's like it's a nice thing to have it sometimes, but not all the time. And I would probably prefer to be without that. Jose Sa, not the greatest goalkeeper in the world, but it's got the sort of stats in the right position. So when it comes to a goalkeeper awareness and reflexes are the top two. He's got both of those. So if you do need a goalkeeper, then you could probably throw some coins at him. But, I'm pretty sure most of you have probably got better goalkeepers. So I think that's an easy pass, in my opinion. I've got a better goalkeeper and he's like rated 75 or something. And I've just trained him up. So it's not a goalkeeper I would personally go out and get. Kevin De Bruyne. Oh my goodness. For 100 coins, you're going to get this guy. Well, this guy supersedes Bruno Fernandes. And look at the stats. I mean, they're just ridiculous. Ball control, tight possession. I would boost that tight possession. I would boost that ball control. Low passing, you don't need to touch that. 91 is more than adequate. I find that anything above that doesn't really seem to make that much difference. Same for the lofted pass. 87, don't need to touch that. His curling's really nice. What would I boost? I don't know what I'd boost. Probably, like I said, the tight possession, the ball control. Focus on those. Maybe even boost the kicking power to make him even more deadly from range. And maybe his stamina as well. So maybe the balance stat as well is down at 74, but which is going to boost, I think it boosts your acceleration, right? I think it's tied into that training. So yeah, boost the balance as well. And he plays a possession game. So a player that may be worth picking up on my other squad. João Cancelo, right back from Manchester City. Wow. This is a good top quality player here. I tend to opt for Trent Alexander-Arnold when I had the base cards, but this is a very, very nice player. Ball control, tight possession, lofted passing. His curling is a little bit lower, so that's something you may want to boost if you are going to play a lot of crosses in with this guy. His defensive awareness, tackling, he can do pretty much everything. And he's got a variety of roles he can play. He can play left back, and right midfield. So don't forget to you could play him as a wing back even from the right midfield spot and just make him a little bit more defensive. But yeah, what would I train for this guy? I would probably boost his tight possession, his curling stat, and his defensive qualities probably. Those are the ones I would probably train and give the sort of focus to when it comes to training. When it comes to his skills, he does lack the one-touch passing, which is why I tend to opt for Trent Alexander-Arnold. But with Trent, you have to boost or train the tight possession and the ball control and the low passing. Get those boosted right up if you go for Trent. But he has got the one-touch pass, which is why I always tend to lean towards him. And the skills for João Cancelo aren't all that useful. Obviously, the pinpoint crossing is, and the slide tackling is a nice to have, as is the double touch. But beyond that, none of the other skills are really worth using when you've only got a player in this sort of position of the field. Talking of Trent Alexander-Arnold, here he is. And like I said, if you look at his player skills, he's got that one-touch passing, which I just mentioned. And his lofted passing is 93, his curling is 90. So, like I said, if you just focus the training on tight possession, ball control, dribbling, and perhaps his balance and acceleration, then you're going to have a very, very solid player here. In fact, I would go for this guy over João Cancelo every single time. But he's only got like 9 levels, so I don't know how much you can boost that tight possession. It might be better to go for the base card and training him up that way. Thiago Silva, obviously a centre-back for Chelsea. And looking at his stats, he's got great defensive awareness, defensive engagement. Those are the 2 key ones for me when it comes to defenders. Jumping, 87. He's not the tallest, 183 centimetres, but 87 for jumping is really good. His physical contact, you probably want to boost that maybe just a little bit, just to outmuscle the stronger strikers and deal with those that are really, really strong. But 79 is pretty good. Just need to boost that just a little bit. He can play the ball out from defence as well with 76 passing and lofted passing. And he's got fairly decent ball control for a centre-back. So receiving the ball, he's not going to have too many problems. What would I boost here? I'd just focus on boosting the defensive qualities of my defenders. Unless you've got another slow defender next to him, in which case you need to boost his speed and acceleration. Joel Matip, again, this is this guy is actually really good to play with when I've used him in the past, based on his base card and his stats here. Obviously, you need to train his defensive awareness and defensive engagement first, get those up, and maybe boost his acceleration just to be a little bit below his speed so he doesn't feel too bad when receiving the ball. He isn't as good as Thiago Silva in my opinion, because you've got more training to do to get him into a better spot like you have with Thiago Silva. But if you are, don't have a quick counter style, then it's maybe something you need to look at. Again, we didn't look at the player skills for Thiago Silva, so we'll have to go back and look at that. But for Joel Matip, man marking, interception and slide tackling and acrobatic clearance, those are all key to have in your arsenal. So we'll go back to Thiago Silva just to take a look at his player skills. And there it is. So for me, based on this is a no-brainer. Look at the skills this guy has got. Acrobatic clearance, slide tackle, interception, man marking, which is what Joel Matip had. But he's got aerial superiority as well. That's a very, very good one to have if you're looking to clear your lines and out-muscle and fight or outfight those big tall strikers. So for me, this guy's a no-brainer. But look at the other ones he's got. He's got one-touch passing, weighted passing, low-lofted passing. Low-lofted passing is actually really good from defence because that enables you to float balls out to the wide areas with quite good accuracy, and they don't go too high either. So less chance of the ball going over your wide player's head out for a throw. So definitely one to perhaps consider. Out of those two, Joel Matip and Thiago Silva, it's an easy choice. The only downside with Thiago Silva is he's a destroyer, and they can go a little bit loopy. They go a little bit crazy sometimes. So you could actually utilize this guy as a defensive midfielder, but if you go down that route, you're gonna have to boost his tight possession and ball control. But I don't think you're gonna want to go down that route. That's the only downside to Thiago Silva, that destroyer role. And that is pretty much it for me, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to catching you guys next time. Take care and goodbye.